For the countless people that have come up to me on this beautiful space of the internet and told me, for example, when I spoke about violence from white people towards black people or from violence men towards women, that, oh, there's also violence from women towards men, or there's also violence from black people towards white people. Why don't you talk about that? Because I will not. I will not. Do you know why? Because I will not. And that's enough. I do not need to justify to you why I will not speak about things you want me to talk about. Because if you want it on the internet, it's either you go look for it or you do it your fucking self. Okay? And yeah, I get that you have this impression or this expectation, if you wish, that when you see someone like me that talks about intersectional feminism, or you see me talk about racism, and you see me accusing white people, rightfully so, of being racist to literally everybody on the planet, even manage to be xenophobic to other white people because we hate each and everybody in our own specific way, then you're like, oh, if you think intersectionality is a thing, I think you should also talk about things that happen to white people. I will not. Okay, I will. Do you hear me? Do you hear me loud and clear? I will not. Point one, white people don't fucking experience racism. Let's even start there. Secondly, even if white people experience xenophobia, why do they experience xenophobia? Because white people ain't shit, okay? Because we came up with the whole blonde, blue-eyed bullshit and then started discriminating each and everybody that doesn't look like this, or we started being xenophobic just because you come from another country, you have another passport, you have another culture, you have another heritage. It's a man-made problem. The call comes from inside the house, and I do not need to talk about that, because at the end of the day, we caused that upon ourselves. It's not as if that was forced upon us by somebody else. No, 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 no. We did that to ourselves. The violence white people experience, both from white and non-white people, is a result to our actions that we have carried into the world into the last 600 years. And I will not talk about that. And then my most favorite example is when people come up with, oh, I will explain how this conversation goes, okay? But, Nicole, what you're saying is not true. White people can experience racism. And I will be rolling my eyes from now till the back of my head. And I'll be like, okay, give me one example, just one example that proves historically, socially, and economically how white people can experience racism. Go, shoot your shot. In my head, I will be like, it's either they will say Latin America or South Africa. And in 9.5 out of 10 cases, they'll be like, oh, South Africa. And I'll just look at you with pity. I'm like, see, because your mother was honey, that's why you're here. And now we have to deal with you, okay? You would not be here if your parents had a greater self-esteem, okay? You would not be here if your parents' expectations were not on the fucking floor for each other. Now you're the product of sorry situations, and we have to deal with you. However, the South Africa example is kind of my favorite. You know why? Because I like, when people are already angry, I like to sprinkle some salt in the wound, right? So if they come up and be like, oh, but white people in South Africa, they experience racism, right? Because their land has been taken away from them. Oh. Oh. So let me just get this straight. If land is taken away from people, it's a problem. But it's only a problem if it's being taken away from white people, correct? Because let's just have a second, hold hands, and let's go back in time. How exactly did these white people get those lands? Quickly? Exactly. And then I like to say, in my own opinion, and I will say this in the most neutral tone possible, in my own opinion, what white people experience in South Africa is not racism. Oh, really? What is it then? Karma. Oh, you should see their face drop. Oh my God. It's better than the newest Hollywood blockbuster every single time. Sometimes when this question drops, in my mind, I'm like, let's go. Okay, because I know what's coming. I know what's coming, okay? So then they'll be like, oh, so you support people having their land taken away from them. Then I will look at them and say, yeah, if they're white South Africans, 100%. 100% of the time. What if they legally bought it? I'm sorry? Come again? Yeah, what if they legally bought the land? What if they inherited the land? Both of which is absolutely nonsense, okay? Okay, let's rewind. let me just say in present day, right? Like now, in this freshly new 2025, a white family travels from, let me use Germany, my example, and travels to South Africa and wants to buy a land because they want to build a house. So they go to the open market and look for houses, look for land, whatever. Then they have their paper situation in check, they have their income, they have gone through the legal process, right? Then they have negotiation ongoing, they pay the right amount of money. I'm talking about, let me just say, I don't know, 300, 400,000 euro, okay? I know that's outrageous, but let's just go with the flow. Then they are landowners. They bought that land legally, no issues. That's today. Even then, it depends on who they bought it from. If they bought it from another white family that came from Europe during colonialism and slavery, and that land was stolen from black people, it's not legal ownership. I know that's wild for you to comprehend, but if that land was taken from black people, from native indigenous South Africans, and was illegally put in the property and ownership of European settlers, that's not legal ownership. And just because you own it because you stole it, okay, just because you stole it doesn't mean you rightfully own it. During the time you stole it, that was legal because of apartheid and racism. What should have happened after apartheid allegedly ended? All that land should have been returned back, but that did not happen. Does that change the legal ownership situation? No. Just because something is legal by law doesn't mean it's right, okay? Don't be fucking stupid. Because there were times in history where it was perfectly legal to execute people because they belong to a specific ethnic group. That was perfectly legal, okay? So are you telling me just because it was legal, it was morally okay? No. So all this coming together, let me just, I stand 10 toes down by that. And I don't care how many Wikipedia articles you're coming out waving around your fucking face. White people can't experience racism. Racism takes power. Racism takes historical power. Past power that transformed or changed the present and put that person or that specific demographic into a beneficial situation over another ethnicity. For fuck's sake. No time in history have black people ever oppressed us, have made us a minority, have taken our rights, have taken our cultures, languages, identities, heritages away and dehumanized us. That's what makes racism. You pulling up Wikipedia telling me if one race hates another race, that's racism, you can't shove that up your ass for all the fuck I care. Okay? Absolutely not. Yeah, but you can't just pick and choose. First and foremost, I don't pick and choose, okay? The one that is picking and choosing is you, okay? Because if I tell you racism is a word that needs to be looked at in the context of history, society, past, present, and unfortunately future, you would disagree. But if I tell you you're an asshole, and then you complain that I just insulted you, and I will tell you that an asshole is just another word for the anus, and I didn't really actually insult you because that's just a body part. Oh, all of a sudden you understand that there's context. And you understand that words are to be looked at in the context, right? You understand that when it's beneficial to you. So you are the one that picks and chooses. So you can go to hell, okay?